So this is the Golden Miller Mares Handicap Hurdle, and we're having a look at Mrs. Grimley for Ben Pauling and Keelan Woods. Chris, this daughter of Australia, looked quite a good buy out of Jessica Harrington, and has done fairly little wrong in the starts that she's shown for this yard.
Yeah, and she's been consistent. Won last time out. Yard having a really good season, obviously. She'll handle the ground really well. And you would say on the back of that win in a novice last time out, same mark that she went into that with, she's competitively enough handicapped.
Hello Bob, for Danny Burton, who is winner of our opening race. She has just struggled to really find her form. She had all of 2021 off, and potentially she just hasn't been able to get back to her best since then.
Yeah, and I think she'd prefer the ground on the chase track than the hurdles track today. She's probably one for a sounder surface.
Okay, next up is the favourite, Faisika Vudras?
Faisika Vudra, I think it is.
Potentially you could do that better than me, for Carrie Lee and Richard Patrick, a recent winner. And that race, her first run in a handicap, proved to be quite dramatic, as Richard Patrick lost one of his irons at the last, went rodeo style. That was a great effort, wasn't it?
It was, and she'll handle the ground. I think she's still well handicapped. She's got some solid form. That run at your Toxter a couple of runs ago worked out well, and I think she's got an excellent chance.
Corey's Courage is making a bit of a show of herself as she leaves the paddock with Lewis Stones on board. What do you make of her efforts this term?
She hasn't run right up to her best, I don't think. She's going to need to improve on what she's been doing, really, but her handicap mark of 111 is probably getting down to something a little bit more realistic. She was a good bit higher.
Guardia Top is here after 816 days off the track. Now, I know the Moors can get one ready first time out, but this looks like a big task for her.
Yeah, first run for the yard here on the back of a lengthy absence, as you say.
And 7, Her de Gloire. She's been running well without winning this season, and she can lead as well. I don't think she's completely out of it.
No, she ran well on a couple of occasions so far this term. She was second, well beaten, but certainly not disgraced a couple of runs ago at Lingfield. Got a little bit closer in defeat last time out at Newbury, and that was in a higher grade.
Okay, so that's a majority of them. A couple we didn't see before they left, but that's enough of them to look through ahead of this Golden Miller Mares Handicap Hurdle. Yeah, that was a great display, wasn't it? Richard Patrick had no choice but to let both feet out of the stirrups, and the horse did the work for him. And look, she's got a great chance here to back this up, but as is Mrs. Grimley, as the betting suggests, is coming in for support for Ben Pauling, Chris, and evenly matched. And it's a case of who's going to really handle what's very testing conditions today. We've been told by jockeys that it is a bit of a slog to get through this afternoon.
Yeah, I think she'll relish these kind of conditions, to be honest. With Kerry Lee's horses running well and a greater stamina test perhaps even than Hereford last time out, then she's got a good setup there. You touched to form a couple of starts ago, that worked out well. I think she's the one to beat.
Her de Gloire is one that to mention. She's been running well without winning this season. She can lead, and it looks like that's what Tom Scudamore's going to choose to do here.
Yep, and she'll handle conditions absolutely fine, and she's back down to a fair enough mark. So she's a definite player as well. Mrs. Grimley has been well back for a yard, having a good campaign, and she won well enough at Foss last time.
Yeah, Ben Pauling's here this afternoon to see the sort of Australia. And as I say, the yard being in good form, Keelan Woods on board, and I just thought she handled conditions without relishing them last time out, but it is tough and it is testing here this afternoon, so let's see who can get through the mud here as the starter raises its flag.
They'll be on their way. They're off. This is the racingtv.com Golden Miller Mares handicap hurdle race. They'll jump 2 down the home straight first time. And right down this near side is de Gloire, who just about leads, likes to bowl along in her races, and she's over the first with a 3-length advantage. Guardia Top is over towards that far side. Then we have Corey's Courage in the white and red colours, within the pink sleeves, Mrs. Grimley. Then in behind is the nose-banded runner, Facer Kafudra, as they clear the next. Born to Please is in the cheek pieces alongside that runner. The grey is Santa Clarita, first start for Tom Simmons today. And right over towards that far side, Hello Bob, Danny Burton and Sam Drinkwater teaming up, having won the opener here today. So heading past us with a circuit to race in this racingtv.com Golden Miller Mares handicap hurdle. Keeping a little bit wider around that bend is de Gloire, who has the advantage under Tom Scudamore. To in second place, Guardia Top, back from a long absence. First start here for Gary Moore today. Then in third position is Corey's Courage on the inside of Mrs. Grimley, who was a winner at Foss last time. The others just bunching up in behind as they clear the first flight down the back straight. Santa Clarita is on the outside of the light blue of Hello Bob. Held up is the Hereford winner, Facer Kafudra. And then out wider, Born to Please, who's well in touch right up by that rail. So heading towards the middle flight down the back. Still de Gloire has the advantage from Guardia Top in second place. The others just in behind, headed by Corey's Courage. Just being passed now by Mrs. Grimley, who's up on the outside with the green cap, Keelan Woods. Born to Please comes next with in behind Facer Kafudra in the yellow and purple colours. Horse wears a noseband. Santa Clarita, the grey, and on the inside of that one is Hello Bob. So they're pretty well grouped up as they race downhill. Still out in front is de Gloire, who has the lead of a couple of lengths. To in second position is Guardia Top. Then on the far rail, Mrs. Grimley and Keelan Woods alongside Corey's Courage and Lewis Stones. In behind that is Facer Kafudra, who's alongside Santa Clarita. Then out pretty wide on the course, still Born to Please as they take the final flight down the back straight. And Hello Bob, a 2-time winner, Danny Burton, is right up against the rail in last position. So racing around the bend, making this long sweeping turn for home. And de Gloire being challenged for the lead now by Guardia Top. Then in third place is Corey's Courage with for company Mrs. Grimley. Facer Kafudra is into fifth position now. Then comes Santa Clarita under pressure. Born to Please just being pushed along by Harriet Tucker to try and close on the leaders. And then at the back of the field, losing more and more ground, is Hello Bob. He's got plenty on from there. So down this very long home straight, still 2 to jump and still a quarter of a mile before they reach 2 from the finish. In the lead is de Gloire right on this near side. Guardia Top now under pressure. Mrs. Grimley in the pink sleeves in third place. Then we've got Corey's Courage. We've been pushed along to try and improve now as well is Facer Kafudra. And then in behind Born to Please trying to get going. Then Santa Clarita and Hello Bob being pushed along at the back of the field. Still haven't got to de Gloire, who still has a furlong to get to this second last flight. Mrs. Grimley though is beginning to close the gap now. 2 lengths down in second place. Corey's Courage, Born to Please. She is running on now into to third place. Then in behind is Faisa Kavudra in fifth position. This is 2 out then from the finish. Still Erdogloire has the advantage, chased by Mrs. Grimley under pressure. Then Born to Please in third place, and then comes Corey's Courage. Just 1 left to jump. Erdogloire still has the advantage of around 3 lengths to Mrs. Grimley in second place. Is over the last as well. Within third place, Born to Please, Corey's Courage, and if anything, she's pulling further and further away. It's Erdogloire now by about 8 lengths, and she's staying on very strongly from the front here under Tom Scudamore. She's made all the running, and Erdogloire is back in the winner's enclosure with a pretty decisive win. Born to Please stays on for second, Mrs. Grimley in third, then came Corey's Courage and Hello Bob, who did stay on.
Well, deserved success for Erdogloire under Tom Scudamore, who wins going away here. In a very likeable effort from Born to Please back in second, and there's a gap to a lot of them. It's testing conditions out here, and it looks like Erdogloire really relished them. From a delighted agent, Chris Dixon, standing next to me, pleased to see Tom Scudamore with a good ride here, getting the best out of this horse.
Yeah, and he went on the best ground throughout, didn't he? Seen that a couple of occasions this afternoon. That wide route over hurdles on deep ground here is often the place to be, and back down in class from Newbury last time out on ground that she handles, she was given a good front running ride from Scoo, and she's found plenty, and she looked the winner for the whole way up the straight, really. You always sensed that he was happy with how he was going, and he had a good number of them on the stretch going more easily than them, so yeah, nice performance.
Mrs. Grimley came for a challenge under Keelan Woods, and she had her opportunity, but potentially just that ground might have just found her out in the end. She just wasn't really picking up on it.
Yeah, she's kind of plugged on but not picked up, really, has she? The disappointment of the race was definitely the original favourite, Faisa Kavudra, who hasn't managed to build on that last time out. Maybe that just left a mark, Jess. The time of the race last time out was pretty good, and maybe a quick enough turnaround after that has caught her out.
Yeah, Born to Please is the one that's definitely ran with plenty of credit back in second. She'd been running creditably, and is a horse that's definitely